Hello and welcome to the Bears and Lions podcast. In today's episode, we actually start a two-part series. So part one today, I'm going to be breaking down 3 reasons why you should strive to be consistent. And then in the next episode, we'll be breaking down tangible practices that I have actually done that have really helped me become consistent. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure that you hit that follow button and rate that with 5 stars. I would absolutely love that. If you want to share as well, that would be really cool. Maybe you have somebody who needs to be consistent. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. It really means a lot. If you want to comment below, that'd be really cool too. If you want to find me on social media, you can follow me on X or TikTok at Kyle Vaught. That's Kylev as in Victor ATT. If you want to find me on Instagram, I'm at Kyle_Vaught. And I think that this conversation is just going to benefit everybody. So I can't wait. Let's get into it. Breaking down consistency. I've broken it down into 3 reasons why I believe you should be consistent. And this comes from a lot of stuff that I have done over the last 6 months that have really shown that consistency works. And it comes also from the fact that I've read a bunch of articles, I've listened to a bunch of podcasts, I've read a couple books where it's shown that consistency works. The studies prove that this works. And this conversation specifically is almost like a 2-part. So this episode and then Thursday's episode coming up, that's going to be like part 2, where I'm going to actually break down specific areas of my life where I've been consistent and be able to show you. So you're definitely going to want to watch that episode on YouTube because I'm going to have some graphics and stuff like that that you're going to be able to see. If you're listening on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, of course, I'll try to do my best to verbalize it. But in this specific conversation, I want to start things off just to show the reasons why I believe you should be consistent. And the first thing is consistency is key. We say it all the time. It's this cliche thing that you've heard before. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. But it really boils down to, do you practice what you preach, right? Because if you really do, if you are in the gym as much as you say you are, it's going to show. Maybe not today, but it will eventually show. Are you eating as healthy as you say you are? In most cases, if you actually are eating healthy, it will show. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, it will show. And that consistency of remaining on that diet and remaining consistent and strong allows you to do that. Are you putting in the time when nobody is watching, right? A lot of people will talk, and this is what I have done in my life. The majority of my life, I have been all talk, not action. And I'm just being 100% honest with you. I have a lot of talk and no action. But especially over these last, I'd say, year and a half, 18 months, I've actually been putting in the work, not when anybody's watching, not caring if any of you could see it. I started this podcast, I want to say July or August was the first episode that came out. And the whole process of it was the fact that I've done a bunch of stuff behind the scenes and you don't even see it. And that's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to be somebody who was doing it, not saying that they were going to do it. There's a lot of podcasts that you can listen to of people who talk about what other people have done or whatever, what the best thing is to do, but they don't do it themselves. I am somebody who I strive to do it first before I talk about it. That way I can talk to you from a firsthand experience. And I truly believe that consistency is a road to a well-rounded life, right? It creates this reputation that you're a person of discipline, that you have a place of peace, and that you're trustworthy, right? That you have trustworthiness, and people will respect that they can count on you. And consistent people can be trusted to be consistent, right? And that can be in a good way or a bad way, because you could be really consistent as a flake and people are just going to know, don't even worry about inviting them. They're going to flake out anyway. Or don't even worry about them showing up on time. They're just going to be late anyway. You want to be consistent. And I think the second reason is consistency is confidence. I truly believe that consistency builds your confidence beyond belief, and it helps your self-esteem. And I like this quote a lot from Alex Hormozy. I've said it before on this podcast, but you don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. So outwork your self-doubt. And I believe that to the nth degree, because ever since I've heard that quote, it's something that I continuously am striving for. I don't care what people say about me. I don't care what I say about myself. I only care what I do. And if I can do it, then I can say, this is what I've done. And you're talking from a completely different perspective of saying, it's like standing at the bottom of a mountain and you're about to hike this massive mountain and you're on the bottom and you're saying, yes, I'm going to climb that. It's one thing to talk to somebody who's at the bottom who's like, yeah, I'm going to climb that. It's another thing for somebody who's walking down and say, it's awesome. I've done that. And you can see they're walking down the mountain. The only way they could walk down is the fact that they climbed up. And it's just two different perspectives. And most people, they don't like to start new things or try new things because they're afraid they're going to be bad at it. And they don't want other people to see them struggle. Like, that's just a part of life, right? Nobody wants to struggle or be viewed as a burden. In fact, I was talking with one of my friends the other day, and they were in this mentality and they shared something and I was like, that's not a healthy mentality, right? Like we aren't a burden as much as we think we are. We're just overanalyzing and thinking that other people think about us way more. When the reality is people rarely think about us. Like, people rarely think about me. And I'm fine with that. Like, I am glad. I can't think of all the other people in my life 24/7 either. So, like, people come across my mind, but most of the day I'm thinking, am I eating healthy? Am I taking care of myself? Who is a friend that I should reach out to? We just went over gratitude. So I've started reaching out to people and just simply saying, hey, I'm thankful for you. But there's an aspect of it where it's like people don't think about us as much as we actually think. And so we're worried about doing something. Oh, what will they think about me? They're not. They're just not thinking about you. It's okay, though. I know that there are always the close group of friends, and that's understandable. But I think it's very valuable to understand that, you know what? You're not a burden. And a lot of times when people reach out, it's because they actually care. They want to help you out. But we have this mentality where it's like, no, I don't want them to see that I'm struggling. I don't want them to see that I'm having a rough time. I want to be strong for them. But it's okay. And that consistency, it builds the confidence that when you do it so many times, right? Like, it gives you the confidence that you're going to be better and better and better at it. And you just have to be willing to be bad at it at first. And I brought this analogy in because I remember when I started learning piano, there was only one song that I could play my first lesson. And I started with Hot Cross Buns. But within 100 days of learning piano, you're pretty much able to play any of the trending songs on TikTok. Like, they're not that difficult in the sense of once you get down the basic stuff, then it's just practice. And the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Because if you do anything enough amount of times, it is nearly impossible for you to suck at it. Like, that's what's awesome about consistency, is the more you just go and do, you become better and better and better and more confident in, like, hey, I've learned by error. I've learned by, trial by fire. I've learned by doing the wrong thing here. I've learned by doing the right thing here. If you go to the gym 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, you're probably not going to see any evidence that you've gone to the gym. But if you've been going to the gym 2, 3 years, people are going to ask you, how do you have the body that you have at the age that you are? Or how do you keep up with that? Or what's your secret about being so in shape? It's called going to the gym every single day, right? It's about developing a diet where I'm not on a diet. I'm just eating healthy naturally throughout my day, and I enjoy the foods that I'm eating. And I know when I can gorge myself with some extra pizza or ice cream or whatever I'm, really liking, I want to have that I know I can do it because I'm consistent with my diet. And one day is not going to throw you off your crazy diet that some program has told you have to follow in order to lose weight. Number 3, I believe that consistency is freedom. At the end of the day, if you are consistent and you're consistently getting all of your stuff done and you are breaking down your life with plans and goals and you're able to get the daily things done without any question, consistency is freedom, to be honest. And this has been a part of my life over the last few, I'd say the last at least 3-4 months. This building discipline and consistency where I've just done things daily. And if you follow me on socials, you know I post a picture of my watch every morning when I wake up at like 4:45, 5 in the morning, on weekends, sometimes 6, 6:30, 7. Like I don't always wake up that early. I just want to be like honest, but that's why I post, is so that every day I post, I show you this is when I'm doing it. I am doing it. I'm not asking you for likes or anything like that. I'm just simply showing the world I am doing what I'm saying I'm doing. And this gives me a consistency and it gives me a freedom, because when I get my stuff done in the morning, I've got the afternoon to myself, right? Like I go work out in the morning and I'm consistent with that. All of a sudden I get off work. Hey, Kyle, you want to hang out? Yeah. Hey, Kyle, you want to grab dinner? Yeah. You want to grab a drink? Sure. Are you okay? Before, if I wasn't consistent with that, it was like, hey, Kyle, what time do you get off work? Well, I get off at like 4:30 and then I'm going to go work out. By the time I get cleaned up and everything, I'm going to be tired. I'm going to want to just go home. I'll get, a light meal and then go to bed. Now I'm completely freed to where I can actually be free to take care of people. And I think that actually builds that freedom in when you are consistently getting your goals done throughout the day, your tasks done, whether it's work or whatever. You have the ability, if you know you're getting stuff done throughout the week and somebody says, hey, next weekend, we're going to this city and we're going to go to a sports event. You want to go? We have an extra ticket. If you're consistently getting your stuff done, you don't have to wonder, I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot on my plate right now, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford that or anything. If you're consistently paying off your bills and planning and saving and stuff like that, you're going to have it in the bank. And you're going to say, what a great opportunity. I definitely would do that. If somebody has like Taylor Swift era tickets, right, that are near Baltimore or something, I want to be in a position where if somebody says, hey, yeah, we got extra tickets, you want to come? Yeah, sure. I'm down. Somebody says, hey, we're going to a Baltimore Ravens game on Sunday. We have an extra ticket. You want to go? 100%. I want to be in that mentality of when I'm consistent, I have the ability to say yes to things that normally I might not have been able to say yes to, because there's an anxiety of like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be free. I don't know what's going to happen. But if you're consistently planning out your week, you know exactly if you're free. If somebody says, hey, do you want to do this on this, Tuesday night or Wednesday night, and I'm consistently recording a podcast on Wednesday night, I'm going to say, no, I can't do it Tuesday night. I can't do it Wednesday night. Thursday night, I'm free, but, I'm not going to be able to do that. Or maybe I am going to be able to do that where I say, oh, I know I'm consistent where I can either do it on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I'll record the podcast on Tuesday, so I'm free on Wednesday. Yeah, sure, I can go on Wednesday because I'm consistent with how I've prepped myself. And I think it's really awesome. It's also interesting because consistency builds this ability to enjoy things a little bit more. And I was just going through random studies. I didn't even realize this, but have you ever heard of vacation guilt? It's when a vacation doesn't live up to the expectation. And studies show that people that consistently set aside time and money for yearly or monthly little events or yearly vacations, they show a greater joy in the trips due to a longer period of anticipation. So plan the trip, right? Make the reservation, be consistent, and build a new tradition, right? If you want to go do something, if you're consistent, you have the ability to lay out the groundwork and plan for it. And that anticipation, the longer the anticipation, the more when you get there, it's going to be like, oh, we made it. This is incredible. You've planned everything out. You don't have to worry about anything. You can just take it as it is, right? Maybe you want to just go somewhere, go to Hawaii with no plans whatsoever, and I'm going to let the wind take me wherever I'm going to go. If you consistently plan a trip like that, you can make the most incredible memories, and you won't have to stress about it or have that vacation guilt of, oh, I'm going to miss this out on work, or I'm behind and I'm using my PTO and all my coworkers are going to hate me because they're taking up and picking up my slack because I'm behind. No. If you got all your stuff done, it's like, I got my stuff done. I'm going to go enjoy myself. I don't have to think about work at all. I'm going to go enjoy myself. So those are 3 areas in consistency that I think are really powerful and are great reasons to be consistent. So I want to challenge you between this episode and the next episode. Find little things in your life that you can begin being consistent. Maybe it is waking up in the morning, and it's really hard for you to wake up in the morning. Set that alarm. Put your phone across the room. Put an alarm across the room. Whatever it takes to start being consistent, where no matter what time you go to bed, you wake up at the same time. Period. That's the way you build consistency, is you do it regardless of how you feel. You do it because that is how you build it. And if you want to be consistent on something, if you want to be consistent in being trustworthy or being on time, leave earlier. Force yourself to say, no, I'm going to leave 10 minutes earlier because I'm going to be on time. I'm usually the late person. I'm going to start being on time from here on. Maybe it's a beautiful thing to start in 2024, is building a consistency of where I am going to be trustworthy, where if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, right? Maybe you're not making promises that you shouldn't, that you can't keep. Yeah, I'll be there. I'm probably not going to be there. You want to hang out? Yeah, that'd be so great to hang out. I'm definitely not hanging out. Make those decisions and find that consistency. I promise you, it's going to help you in your life. It's going to bleed into everything. It's going to make you a very well-rounded human, and it's going to be somebody that makes you a trustworthy friend, a trustworthy spouse, or a trustworthy boyfriend or girlfriend. I promise you, people will see how consistency and how the consistency in your life impacts not just you, but everybody around you. I really appreciate it, y'all. That is going to do it for this conversation. If you want to follow me on my social media, you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, and TikTok. That's at Kyle Vaught. V as in Victor, A-T-T is how you spell my last name. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Kyle_Vaught, V as in Victor, A-T-T. At some point, I'm going to get at Kyle Vaught on Instagram. I really hope so. Or I'll change everything to like Kyle Vaught Official. I don't know. We'll see. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you share this to somebody who needs some consistency in their life. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button and share it on your social media. Be consistent, and we're going to all grow together in one way, shape, or form. I used to always say this when I live streamed, but I built a community called The Tribe, which I think that this is the tribe of people that I want to be around. And I used to always say, we go together, we grow together. So that is what we are going to do. Remember to give grace, show love, and as always, stay stellar. Peace.